Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob, and today we're gonna be continuing the narration for the main story of Arknights. Okay, I'm gonna go think directly into the episode today with the usual stuff. Just quick note, side note here, gonna have a rambling section at the end about both the anime, because I've I've seen they finally updated how many episodes this anime will have, which is by the way 8, and because of it I wanna talk about this, how much of the story, especially considering the latest trailer as well, how much it will cover for the anime. Once more, the thing is supposed to drop on the 28th of October 2022, so less than a month away. Still hyped, even though it's gonna be only 8 episodes for now, but we'll see about that when the time comes. But for now, let's get into today's thing with, on the last episode. Oh boy, how to summarize the density of the last episode? Well, we began literally where we left off on part number 1. Shen jumped out of the building. A arrest warrant has been issued almost immediately for her. The LGD is scrambling about to find and apprehend her, and everybody is literally just confused as to why the heck there is a arrest warrant for Shen, of all people. Shen tries to sneak out of the city, gets intercepted by Hoshiguma, and they share a pretty lengthy heart-to-heart in between each other. And amongst other things there said, Shen finally tells her straight to her face that she has had oripathy for a couple of years now, and because of how the stuff went with Wei and Wu, her foster father, and technically the leader of Lungmen, she had to keep it quiet from pretty much anybody. Which, I do love that little reaction, how Hoshiguma literally just reacts to that whole moment when she tells her that she's infected with oripathy. Just a little pause of nothing, and then just barely mumbles out the words, "How long?" Love it. Really love that little moment. But yeah, they keep going. Shen keeps demanding that she has to go to Chernobog and stop the city from crashing with or rather, it's not just a thing of stop the city from crashing. She needs to go to Chernobog because Tallulah is there. As she further tells Hoshiguma, Tallulah is her sister, which immediately prompts Hoshiguma to realize what is actually happening here and why she's going over there. Obviously, this is a very personal family matter for Shen, and Hoshiguma is even more determined from that moment onwards to do everything in her might to just stop her as much as she can. Even goes on a little segment of rambling about her shield Hanya and the origins of that one. They do clash at the end. Shen manages to overcome Hoshiguma, even chips away quite a chunk out of that triangular shield, injures Hoshiguma as well. They don't really say how badly she injures her, but considering Hoshiguma is an Oni and stuff, probably not too much of a dangerous injury there. And before she leaves, Shen leaves Hoshiguma with a parting "please do this" kind of moment, as in asks her to go and look after the slums and the infected people there, because they don't have anybody to look after them, and that if at any point while she is there overseeing them and helping them out, children may approach Hoshiguma and give her little handmade stuffed dolls, she should accept them, considering apparently a girl named Misha has taught them how to make those. And since Shen is still beating herself up about Misha's death, as well as Amiya is, pretty much mirroring each other to some degree there, asks her to pick up those dolls because she is obviously beating herself up over all of that. She then obviously leaves. And we flash back to moments later after Shen jumped out of the building to Wei and Wu's office. A heated discussion breaks out between Wei and his wife Fumizuki, to the point of where she starts insulting Wei in Higashinese. Considering, yes, she's not from Lungmen or Yan, as Lungmen is part of Yan. She is from further east, from Higashi. Just to clarify for people who are maybe not aware of what some of the countries are mirroring, Yan is obviously mirroring China, Higashi is mirroring Japan, and Ursus is obviously mirroring Russia. And I do love that little moment where she just starts yelling at him in Higashinese, which kind of prompts me to, when that moment gets animated one day, hopefully in the anime, how are they gonna deal with it, considering the main language that the anime is gonna run in is gonna be Japanese? I mean, they're not gonna break format and she's gonna suddenly talk in a different language. They'll have to underline that moment somehow, that she's using a different language altogether. Pardon. But yeah, interesting. Wonder how they're gonna pull that off. The conversation continues. A agreement gets met, in which first off Fumizaki tried to recruit Rhode Island to go after Shen and get her back, even offering to pay out of her own pocket. More conversations go on, and it ends on a thing where kalt'tsit has only one demand about helping them out, and that is to get the remains of Wei and Wu's brother, Shen and Tallulah's father, Edward. What was the full name again? Hold on, I had that note somewhere. I think it was Edward something, right? Edward Artorius. And the scene ends, and we proceed into Rhode Island, preparing for the big action. The whole operation is, for the first time ever since the Doctor's reawakening and their amnesia, gonna be led by the three figureheads of Rhode Island. kalt'tsit is gonna be part of the mission, Amiya is gonna be part of the mission, and the Doctor themselves is gonna be leading the mission. 5 teams total are gonna be deployed, as is the norm with Rhode Island's mission operandus. And they plan to use a artificially created sandstorm as cover to approach the moving core city of Chernobog. The sandstorm cover is almost blown, but at the final moment, just to give them an upper hand, the sandstorm team, in which Nerl is taking part, decides to, well, Nerl herself decides to be like, I'm gonna go up on that dune and I'm gonna do the thing I do where I collect all the light in the surrounding area and focus it around myself. Well, that's a bright flashbang, I guess. Suddenly they're in the middle of the desert, but okay. Anywhere else besides around her was apparently darkness, like an eclipse, I guess. Interesting. Nerl has some very interesting powers surrounding light. Her entire family line has those to some degree, but the infiltration succeeds. Everyone makes it on board of Chernobog in its underbelly, and they proceed to pretty much just gather themselves and start heading inside, deeper inside rather. The Doctor finally has a moment where he's gonna, for the first time, they are gonna for the first time see how Rosmontis, who is also part of the does her stuff. And no matter how brutal that whole moment seems where she attacks people, she always tries to not, and pretty much succeeds most of the time, to not mortally injure anybody. It's more of like a, you know the Batman shtick of I don't kill kind of deal, even though it looks like I'm almost killing people. But yeah, she's mostly disabling people with her arts, with her very wide range covering arts, where she just chucks giant pieces of metal at people. But yeah, they get to live. Everybody proceeds deeper inside. The Doctor is definitely distraught with the whole situation, seeing that little 14-year-old do all kinds of brutal actions against other people. And proceeds to be told by Rosmontes that she decided to be part of this mission and do these stuff, this specific stuff, because she wants to remember. Because throughout the story so far, we do get a big hint at that something isn't right with Rosmontes' memory as she's carrying that little terminal in her hands. Basically a continuous reminder of stuff, because, like it is being hinted at, her memory is not the best, and it keeps leaking. And it keeps disappearing, and it's really disturbing her to a certain degree. But at the end of the... literally towards the end of the episode, we get a little flashback, one of many throughout the whole thing, but we get one crucial little flashback where we are back at the landship Rhode Island, and kalt'tsit and the manic operator Warfarin have a little conversation about Amiya heading out into battle, especially against Patriot. Because of a certain prophecy that was foretold some many years ago about the Lord of Fiends being the one to kill the last of the Wendigos. I think that's the main one. Was it specifically the Wendigos, or was it specifically... Can't remember right now. Shit, should have noted that down. Whatever. But yeah, as they do also discuss, there are Wendigos still left in the world, but their whole race is very, very sparse. Extremely sparse from what I've gathered through all these years of playing this game. Like, there are not many there anymore. But they are a long-lived species. Lived. But yeah, we end on that, and kalt'tsit telling Warfarin basically never again to utter those words, aka the Lord of Fiends. What does it mean? Well, we'll get to that. Anyway, in today's episode, also I need a reminder to post into the comment section a skip to this timestamp thing if you want to skip the intro, considering I'm looking at time right now. For today's episode, we're going to be covering... okay, what was that hitch? We're going to be covering 7, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 11 and 12 have no story, and on the next episode, I think I'm going to be completely ending it, because at least this complete episode will be finished, because 13 leads into 16, which leads into the end of the story for this chapter. So yeah, next part is gonna be definitely the finale to this story. But yeah, let's begin on 7-7, which is a cutscene only part, titled once more with a timestamp of 26 hours, 37 minutes, and 14 seconds. Says, a knot that, to this day, has still not been untied. Let's begin. Unknown time. You're not going to draw the curtains? The glass has already been broken, and doing that would just be lying to myself. The glass doesn't matter. Whether Shen is safe does matter. She is killed, not like her father or her mother. Yes, nothing like her. Beneath my feet is already another river of lights. Lungmen has already returned to normal, but they still don't know what will happen next. Alone, Shen Hu-Shi cannot stop this disaster. Rhode Island is with her. They will find her. Wit can no longer hold back the conservatives. For so many years he has tried to suppress the great lords, but he has not been able to completely defeat them, only weakened them. After the Great Rebellion, a harsh blow was dealt to the generals of the various armies and the old nobles behind them. Their status and wealth will be absorbed by the State Council one by one. But I'm afraid that... Afraid of what? What if Wit is lying? What if this whole situation was plotted by Wit and the Emperor? What if the young Emperor planned all of this? Our enemies have always lurked in the shadows, but we've always had to stand before the brightest spotlight. You are already deeper into the shadows than most others. It's not enough. Just like back then, if he was in the situation, he'd burrow deeper. But you are not Cachet. Cachet would not have been able to make Lungmen what it is today. It's just that if Tal really was thought by Cachet, that doctor from Rhode Island, do you think she's lying? I'm not sure. There aren't many people like that who'd lie. Rhode Island is good at not hiding itself. They feign weakness before us and will not reveal any secrets. But I would rather believe that Cachet shaped the current Tallulah. We can't afford the terrible consequences of underestimating the enemy. Tal. Because of that, I can't let Shen Hu-Shi do this alone. Cachet has all the cards in his hand. Even if he is dead, his vision may yet come to pass through his heir. None of this could be what he wanted. The scout team reported that some of the infected who left Lungmen were moving in the direction of the core city. The core city was stopped for a period of time, during which they received those infected refugees. Even if Tallulah bare her vicious fangs at Ursus, she would not betray reunion in front of everyone. This is the best opportunity. I will bring the Shadow Guard. They've already done too much for me. I promised that I'd never ask them to dirty their hands, only to break that promise again and again. And now I would ask them to die for Lungmen. If so, I will be with them. I won't allow it. You doing that would play right into Cachet's hands. That would not be a win at all. Is it not a stretch to say that everything we've done since regaining Lungmen has played into Cachet's hands? We've won before. It was our victory at first, even though it was painful, you and I, Edward, and Kojui. Without us, he would have wiped out the city. I never once regarded this incident as an unfortunate beginning. I won't treat Edward's death as if it was by Cachet's hands. Would you rather treat it as a nightmare? No. The nightmare should have finally ended when Cachet died. Is he really dead? Maybe he lives on in Tallulah. A qualified success will allow him to continue his life of chaos. Tallulah is too much like him. For someone who had no children, Cachet truly received the most suitable seed. Even if I can treat kalt'tsit's words as fabrications, I cannot deny the facts. There is a conspiracy against Lungmen, and it reads too much like Cachet's handwriting. I don't believe it. Tal has never been that kind of person. Why is she doing this? We have no choice but to believe it. Tallulah planned all of this. But if she thinks Lungmen will roll over and die, she will find she's sadly mistaken. Lungmen will not fall. I won't let any harm come to Lungmen. But you also cannot stop this war. Do you want me to die with you? Fumizuki, are you threatening me? No, that's not what I meant. It's just that... No, you can't. Only cowards would elevate themselves on the corpses of others. And without you, I wouldn't be able to... Maybe I was a coward before, but not anymore, Fumizuki. I won't let anyone lay a finger on you. I'll find a place for you to hide. Be it Leothanian, or Sargon, or Sami. You can't go back to Higashi. I'll send you to a distant country, to a small, quiet town that nobody knows about. I'll hide you where nobody can follow you. My brother, no matter how much he hates me, he won't chase you to the ends of the earth. I know he won't. But I can't live like that. Do you want me to spend my life alone, Yenwu? Do you want to torture me with your death for the rest of your life? Don't you remember why your sister died? No, Fumizuki. I want you to live. Wei Yenwu, I told you, I'm fine with it. To die with you would already be the best terrible outcome I can imagine. Or rather, no matter how terrible it is, it'll be a fine ending for me. Don't say that, Fumizuki. I won't be that kind of person. I won't let you do that either. But you know, you can't stop me. You've never been able to stop me from doing what I want to do. Fumizuki. Yenwu, you've always been frank with me. Sometimes you won't tell me anything. When you finally come out with it, I'll always know that you're telling me the truth. I don't want you to die, but I also don't want Tal to die. I don't want any of us to die. I miss Tal. I'm always reminded of how much she looks like your sister, but she has Edward's eyes, and the temper she had when she was little. I have no idea whom she got that from. It's because it's been so many years since I've seen her. We owe all of this to her. And Hugh-Shi. Yes, and little Shen as well. Little Shen is gone, and I won't be able to see her ever again. I'll never be able to buy her beautiful clothes and comb her hair into a work of art. She didn't like traditional attire that much. But I liked it. How beautiful she will be. But even if that's the case, even if we've said our final farewell, I hope that little Shen can find someplace else to settle down comfortably. That's what I hope. I know you don't want to rely on Rhode Island, and I know that you won't hedge all your bets on them. But I want you to wait for a while. And let them do this, Yenwu. If they fail, then we shall go together. You don't want to have the blood of your loved ones on your hands ever again, right? If that happens, I will help you take Tal's life. Then we will die together. Fumizuki. You want her to live as well, don't you? Is this Lungmen a place that wants all of us to die? I would rather never see them again. I would rather never see little Shen and Tal again and forget about them. But I also want them to live on. Just like you wanted me to make this decision. Fumizuki, if things pass the tipping point, you must listen to my arrangements. Our lives are not indivisible. Of course not, Yenwu. I do not solely exist for you. Everything I've done, from beginning to end, has not only been for your sake. You must see what I am fighting for. Don't dodge the issue anymore. Look at me. I will stick to my decision. Do you want to cry? It's fine to cry, Yenwu. No, Fumizuki, no. I'm fine. Be honest. There are people who simply want to rest and find refuge within the city. Why should they suffer needless a death? Don't we just want to give them a home? Don't we want all people like us who have nowhere to go to have a warm place to rest? Did I not simply want to build a city where everyone can live with peace of mind? Who was Lungmen built for, the way it is now? I am no moralist, Fumizuki, But the closer I look, the more I realize that only death is needed. Only one death is needed. My own. Don't be like this. You mustn't. I will have the Shadow God escort you to Sargon. When did Lungmen turn into this? And when did I become like this? Alright, then moving on to stage 7-8, titled Fury of the Silent, Part 1. This one has only a before stage story, and that one will conclude on the next stage. 1:30 AM. Leader. Phantom Crossbowmen, I'm glad to see you've returned safely. You brought so many. Are they all our people from Lungmen? There are so many infected who came back with us. I didn't think we'd meet you here. We can save a lot of lives making full use of Chernobog's resources. This core city will be our final weapon to breach Lungmen. What? No, my leader. Why was Lungmen so different from what we planned? So many of our comrades died back there for nothing. You dare speak to their leader like this? No, he's right. Many of our dear friends have suffered so much. The enemy left a lot of treacherous traps for us that disrupted our plans. It was a major setback. However, even if our pioneers face some obstacles, the reunion movement will avenge them. I shall see to it that your wounds, your sacrifices, are made whole again. Were we not, we will be with you, always. I hope so, leader. The person you're carrying, Mephisto, is he... Faust sacrificed himself to save him, didn't he? That's right, leader. With no regard for his own life, Faust used his arts to cover our tracks and give us a chance to escape. Oh? Phantom Crossbowmen, my people of reunion, Faust will live on forever in our hearts. Help him down. Mephisto will need to rest a while. I will have some men take you to camp. Another thing, leader, we lost contact with Crown Slayer early on. We haven't heard anything from her. Don't know where she might have ended up. As for Yeti Squad and Frostnova, they're all... truly unfathomably tragic news. Please allow me some time to myself. Sarkas, do not let them near any of our reunion units in the city. How far do we go? All the way. See to it that they never set foot here. Could they be hiding something, or have they been digging around? Their team must know something I don't. Maybe that battle was somewhat transformative. Those arts were already exceptional, and he was not talkative. He cloaked himself in his silence. I thought Faust would be the one to survive. But then this isn't so strange either. Okay, I'm not for this next segment fully sure who is talking to who here, so one of them will just be generic voice for now, because I really can't remember who the other person is supposed to be. Who are you? Who am I? What do you want? What do I want? Join you. Fight for myself. Fight? Ah, for the exalted Ursus. Here you were supposed to be the last one standing. Looks like the core city is back up to speed. It didn't stop for long. On the upside, that should have been Reunion taking in a group of infected migrants from Lungmen. I hope. But we may have to change up our strategy. We can expect the city to make a few more steps along the way until the enemy commander decides to announce her plan. Then she'll stop taking in infected refugees. At that time, should Wei and Wu decide to attack, the enemy will redeploy their defensive unit. We may be exposed in the process and come under attack. I hope our agreement with Fumizuki will buy us some time from Chief Wei. We're already very close to the center of the core city. There are a lot of passages above and below us that seem like they were part of the city's transit system. After the catastrophe, everything stopped working. That does mean it's impossible for the city to function and even move? Could this be the underground structure Dr. kalt'tsit was talking about? Regardless, these passages make good cover for us. The number of enemy guards has nearly doubled in this storage area close to the central district. We haven't seen much resistance since entering the core city, but once we proceed to the central district, we should expect to run into a lot more Reunion forces. The Recon and Spec Ops teams are already in position. So far, so good. Why do we only have 3 teams working together? The Recon and Spec Ops teams have both have their own missions. Radian is leading the Recon team for this operation as one of Rhode Island's communication specialists. Thanks to Radian, the Recon team serves as the focal point for our comms in this operation. Even here in the core city, we'll be able to communicate with the other teams. That's because of their hard work. I didn't see them. The Recon team always works alone. Outcast, Radiant, and Scout, who heroically gave his life in the Chernobyl rescue mission. The elite operators leading the Recon team are responsible for leading their squads alone, identifying and reporting threats, and attempting to resolve them without assistance. Radiant isn't as skilled in combat as the other 2 elite operators, but she is a unique talent at Rhode Island when it comes to directly influencing the course of a battle. We've got 3 teams engaging in this assault operation. We don't need Radiant to trouble herself with combat. As for the Spec Ops team, their mission also avoids direct combat. Okay, explain it to me. It's enough to know that they are necessary. You'll know the details soon enough. Each team makes up a link in the chain of our strategy. That stable structure breeds a stable result. Conversely, a formidable opponent has a tangled and twisted root structure. They pull in nutrients from every level. Hacking off branches does them no harm. We have to set their roots alight before they even know we're here. Okay, I think I get it. I'm pretty sure you get it all, Doctor. Wait a second. Some distant, vague feelings are coming to me. An orderly, unchanging flow with no conflict. Ironclad, and they're moving. Reunion's guard team. Let's avoid them and find another way. No time to lose. Amiya? Dr. kalt'tsit? Careful. Can't you feel it? Attention, operators. Protective gear on. It couldn't be. Resmontes, are you feeling any anomalies? No, I don't think so. This is beyond Rosmontes' arts. You can't rely entirely on emotions, Amiya. There is more to feel than feelings alone. When you run your fingers through a head of hair, the first thing you feel is neither longing nor joy. It's something more base than that. Base? You can go up to the surface from the depths, Amiya. Only you can. I'll try, Dr. kalt'tsit. There's a sliver of energy and a strong scent in the air like... a corpse? No, this isn't a real corpse. Could it be... No. Oh? Why? It's Sarka's. Sarka's arts. Thick with the smell of death. A ritual? It's an ancient ritual that runs itself after taking shape. These are not modern arts. Definitely not a modern tactic. Are Sarka's arts unique? They are. This is very unusual. The Sarkas we know today can't perform arts like these. I understand what you mean, Dr. Kalt'tsit. This is an ancient Sarkas ritual, not a product of the modern science of Originium arts. Our enemy here may be of the purest Sarkas. There are techniques not known to any modern country passed down only among ancient Sarkas and Sargonian nomads. The ritual relies on a ripathy infection and the caster's peculiar understanding of Originium. The chaotic energy is seeping out of the Originium core, spilling out and enveloping the entire block. I can't even imagine how the potent tempest at the center of the ritual would affect a living being. It wouldn't know the difference between friend or foe. Any living thing would be simply pulled apart by the waves of energy. It doesn't seem useful for modern combat. The cost far outweighs any potential gain. Cannibalism. The phrasing may seem alarmist, but that's how this ritual is called. It's not surprising that the device at the center of the ritual is called an altar, considering how horrifically destructive it is, that the uninitiated refer to this as witchcraft. I don't think ordinary Sarkas mercenaries know how to use these kinds of arts. You would have to have extensive arts knowledge and combat experience from Castle to be able to pull off this ritual, and you wouldn't actually need to be a caster. But he's only a Castle Sarkas, not one of the descendants of the ancient Sarkas still wandering around the world. Dr. Kalt'tsit, is this second layer of protective equipment designed to protect against the Sarkas arts? Not entirely. The amount of energy the ritual is producing exceeds the maximum tolerance of our equipment. This ritual can only be completed successfully in a city lost to catastrophe. Our gear will not negate the effect of the ritual. Its power derives from antiquity and cannot be separated from it. All we can do is mitigate its lethality and destroy it after clearing the area. A Sarkar's ritual is not only a challenge to modern technology. It's almost as if it's standing to once again challenge the other civilizations of this world, as the Sarkas have plotted throughout history. It's a metaphor. Yes, but Sarkas' history is more than metaphorical. The reunion element guarding Chernobog is not a typical group. I've said as much already. Reunion may very well rely on hubs in neural networks to operate as a single unit on a large scale. But for today's purely push strategy-driven environment, Reunion would be something of an anomaly. Imagine if soldiers who could not deal with the infected, with no ordinary training in how to fight Sarkas, infiltrated a core city. They would suffer a crushing defeat. Right. Then, let me think. Dr. Kalt'tsit, the place where the enemy performed the Sarkas rituals must be important locations or critical transport hubs. They're much more familiar with the terrain than we are. They would have mapped out all the paths long before we could. They must have had defenses in place before we even started our operation. The only advantage we have is our intelligence. We know how they're deployed, and they know nothing about us. So we move quickly to wipe out the enemies guarding this area. The faster we do it, the safer we'll be. Don't let them alert the other guards. Don't even think about an ambush. We can't waste time here. Right. I will help with the assault. Okay. I think... Dr. Kalt'tsit, look, I think if... Alright. If you don't need my assistance, Doctor. Is there something I can help with? Please help Amia command the operation. You will evaluate the progress of the battle. Roger. Rosmontis, we're moving out. We'll vacate the area after this battle and head to the core city surface. Rosmontis, at least it'll be sunny. Sunny... Look at them. The rest is up to you, Doctor. I know you won't let us down. Oh yeah, I think this is the second one where I'm also not sure who is addressing kalt'tsit here. Not 100% sure. So let's just roll with this. kalt'tsit, we won't see that disappointment again. You never step into the same river twice. There won't be a second time. Even with the same person, the same thing, in a different time, will have a different outcome. This world will change. You believe it, don't you? Yes, it makes sense that you wouldn't. But I believe it. The Doctor, a person like that, I know if it wasn't this time right now, the Doctor would be different. I've seen a lot, so very many. Even if everyone else won't, I can understand. kalt'tsit. kalt'tsit. If we had a little more time, you and I... You can prove you're not the Doctor that was stuck in the past. In this time. No matter how, Doctor, you have to. So, well, there are, considering I know more about the story, there are two candidates here that I would put in who was addressing kalt'tsit like that. The most obvious one would be Theresa, but again, I'm not 100% sure, so I'm not gonna say like, oh yeah, it was 100% Theresa. But maybe. It's the most obvious candidate for now. But yeah, let's continue to stage 7-10, titled Fury of the Silent Part 2. And this one has the after story. Journal Book Warehouse, 12:40 a.m. With all these warehouses and storage equipment, this must be the warehouse district. If we stay on this path, we'll reach the central district. Amiya, come look, in the warehouse. What is it? Oh. Signs of combat using sharp blade type arts. Made quick work of 3 Union guys. Tossed them over there. Still going. Dr. kalt'tsit. I'm asking you and the medic operator to take care of the reunion people. They may have important information. And we've picked up Madame Shen's trail here. Bloodstains. She's hurt. There's a trail of blood here, but it stops over there. She got her bleeding under control. Only one person left the scene. It must be Madame Shen. Hold on, Madame Shen. We're coming. Feels like deja vu. Huh. Yeah, Chernobyl was just like this. But Madame Shen was able to take on our rogue Union team all by herself back there. This time, it's totally different. We had a cooperation agreement then, nothing else. I was only starting to learn who Madame Shen was. But here, we're already... Is that a civilian? Where did she come from? We haven't found their hideout. This isn't Ursa's graveyard. Stay alert, but hold your fire. We are a neutral group researching the infected. Ma'am, we are here to help you. We mean you no harm. You're a regular infected... Infected? I'm Ursus. You want to help the infected? Huh, bullshit. Don't you know what your infected have done to us? Ma'am, we'll keep our distance if you feel unsafe. We'll stay 20 meters back. No, I'm infected too. So I'm not supposed to talk to you like that, right? You'll save the infected. All infected should all just die. I should die too. If there were no infected, I wouldn't have gotten infected. All they think about is revenge and hurting others. Is that what the infected do? Is that what I should be doing? Amiya, comfort her, okay? No, not now. Let her vent. All the painful memories she's built up over the last month are stabbing into her consciousness. It's time she faces them. This is a chance for her to pull them all out. Do you know who we are here, infected? Infected just like you, alive and dead. The infected who managed to just barely keep themselves alive thanks to Reunion, and the countless infected who died here thanks to Reunion. But we weren't infected before. They scattered the people of Chernobog in all directions, then hunted us down. It started as a slaughter, then turned to torture, and finally they dumped the survivors like trash. I don't even know how many starved or froze to death. But those of us who survived were all infected by constant exposure to Reginium. Every last one of us. You infected. You damn infected. Trust us, you don't have to take us to the other patients. We'll leave you what you need for critical care, and then we're gone. I don't trust you. Did Ursa send you? Or Lungmen? If it really was them, we'd be dead already. Oh, it's you. Amiya, scan his ID code. Dr. kalt'tsit? Guard, explain yourself. It's been a while, It's been a while, Amiya, Dr. kalt'tsit. And, Doctor. Alright, and moving on to stage 7-10, titled Flames of the Faint. Let's begin with the before story. Guard, explain yourself. I must look exactly like a Reunion member, huh? So you know each other? Right, so everything this Kata said was a lie. You and Reunion have always been on the same side, isn't that right? Toti, did you find any food? The people in the shelter don't have long. What more do you want from me? Let's get you to someplace safe first. Stay away from her, guard. I'm staying back. I know things must be hard to explain, but we have to be careful. All the Ursas here became infected of no fault of their own, and they've had a tough time. Most of them are already on the verge of mental breakdown. All it takes is someone to push them over the edge. We've had it tough. You're psycho murderers, sadistic freaks. Because of you, look what happened to me. Look what I've become. But if you don't leave right now, the devils will find you. You'll be handed over to Reunion. Patriot's troops have completely pulled out of this area. If you're caught, I can't save you at that point. Then just let me die. I'd rather die than watch you monsters run rampant. What about guerrillas or this so-called Aegis of the infected? Are they any different from the rest of Reunion? They are. Without them, we'd be dead already. Tell me then, right now. If they're just trying to do the right thing, why are they still with Reunion? Why they do this to our own homes? Why are they rebelling? Why aren't they rebelling? Why aren't they walking out? Why did they do all of this even knowing we've been spat on, persecuted, and killed? Why didn't your great guerrillas fight back against the patrolling devils? Why? I watched them. They used their own hands to rip, tear. Patriot can't be everywhere at once. When Patriot has to command his forces to defend the sanctity of life, something has gone horribly wrong. But as long as the guerrillas still continue to pass through this area, I can assure you that the truly wicked in Reunion will not set foot here. That is the difference between Reunion's thugs and Patriot's guerrilla warriors. Patriot and the Sarkers as a whole are much more disciplined than Reunion's ranks. Where are they then? Why aren't they here? When they left, the other infected were so much worse, so cruel. How is that not their fault? If not for the guerrillas, they never would have turned against us like this, right? They're just out of revenge on the guerrillas. Guerrillas? Whatever. You're wrong. The guerrillas did the right thing, and while, as you said, some may be trying to take revenge on the guerrillas, they gave you a chance to survive, so Reunion is retaliating against them. That is all. No, they did more than that. One might say they're defending our dignity. I saw it with my own eyes. I saw the soldier telling the others to call you by your names rather than your numbers. Isn't that right? And the reason they left us alone was so that we could help you when they are away. Chernobyl has already been cut up into many pieces. There are some places that the guerrillas are stationed, but also many where they are not. If no one can maintain discipline, then if you want to survive, you can only depend on us. And that's even assuming we survive. Amiya, do you believe what I said just now? Kotaskar, look! His Reunion! How can you believe anything coming from Reunion? And what about me? Am I supposed to buy into their bullshit now that I'm infected? Look, the people you said wanted to murder us, aren't they Reunion? Now that I'm infected, is Reunion suddenly going to take me in and treat me better? How the hell am I supposed to know who's who, and which one of you is going to kill me? You, Reunion, all of you should just... Amiya? Dr. Kalt'tsit? Don't get worked up. Kalt'tsit? Kalt'tsit, we should keep moving. You... Why are you here? You of all people. Are you trying to eradicate Reunion completely? Rhode Island, you're no better... Forget that now. The Sucker's mercenary patrol is going to pass through this warehouse soon. If we don't deal with them, or at least hide, they're going to find us and take us away. Not to mention the regular Reunion patrols. We don't have much time to find supplies. That's why so many are starving and short on medicine. There's a lot of death among the people of Chernobyl. Amiya, Dr. Kalt'tsit, and also Doctor, I really hope you can trust me, or at least find somewhere to hide. Guard. Infected Ursus woman. Do you mean me? Infected Ursus woman, I have some honest question for you. Your accent. You're from the capital of the Empire, aren't you? But the way you speak, it's so old-fashioned. You're educated. I was a copyist at a university before. It's all gone now, thanks to you, infected. Alright, do you trust the man behind you, our infected former employee, now with Reunion? Huh? He's your employee? One of Rhode Island's functions is helping innocent infected survive in a combat environment. Whether or not you are innocent remains to be seen. However... And suddenly Monster appears. Dr. Kalt'tsit? What are you doing? What is... Never thought I'd see a day when Monster was after me. The blade pressed against your throat has an incision angle of only 8 degrees, another 6 millimeters deeper, and it severs an artery. Miss. Did he truly work so hard to ensure your survival as he claimed? What are you asking? What are you getting at? Did he and his Reunion element, or any part thereof, threaten your life or take any action to harm you? I will deal with him in accordance with your response. Are you threatening me with his life? We had nothing to do with each other. What about him individually? Did he go along with Reunion and their crimes against humanity? Dr. kalt'tsit, I'm insulted. I can only rely on the words of eyewitnesses and victims. Since you claim to have guaranteed her right to live, then I have only the young lady's testimony by which to adjudicate your claim. You gave only your side of the story. But what she says is also... She is in a different position. You have power. You can also use violence. It doesn't matter what you did with that violence. I felt it. Amiya, it's the Sarkas. The targets are getting closer. But he... Did he or did he not protect you from Reunion? Did he or did he not effectively keep you safe from their aggression? Dr. kalt'tsit, the patrol is here. It's not the guerrillas. You can't... Don't let them... You're not making any sense. I am confident our actions are well within the ethical parameters of Ursus. It was you who made the accusation against him. He did go out regularly about this time. Dr. kalt'tsit, let me stop the Sarkas, or at least let me get them to someplace safe. I need an answer. Speak, or we will never know the truth. 24 meters out, in a straight line, very close. 22 meters. Monster. Dr. kalt'tsit! No, he didn't do anything wrong. At least nothing I saw. Amiya, Doctor. You put on a good show. Thank you for your time. Darn it, Dr. kalt'tsit. I knew it. Let's go, Doctor. Our next target is Reunion Sarkas Patrol Team. I'm coming too. Guard, was it? You're wrong about me, but I'll protect you. I'll get your revenge for you. They'll pay for what they did to you, and my family, and the common people. They'll all pay for all of it. My god, that little one saying stuff like that is always kind of chilling to some degree. Jesus. Alright, and let's end today's part with the after part. The ritual has no effect on the Sarkas, but our Sarkas operators aren't immune? Why? But they didn't look like they were with the guerrilla team. Strange. Rosmontes. Thank you. I'm going on patrol. Don't thank me. Like Amiya always says, you don't thank people for doing their jobs. The effects of the neuropathy inhibitor will take a while to show, but for now you should be feeling a lot less pain. Take the medicine back to the others. There isn't much, probably only enough for one dose, but it will help with acute symptoms. Did you really come to help us? I'm sorry, but we can't help you much more than this. We have to defeat the leader of Reunion before we can do anything else. Also, if Reunion breaks into a full-scale riot again, I think we won't be able to handle them. All those things I said to you, I wasn't like this before. I used to hate you people, but now I'm like you. Everyone hates me too. I very nearly killed him, but without his help, we might already be dead. But every time he let us go find supplies, someone died. I thought for sure that was proof he was working with Reunion to toy with us. Even though we're already infected, does Reunion really hate the Ursus so much? People don't need much to indulge in the ugliest side of their nature. Just giving them free rein can contaminate every part of a city. Dr. kalt'tsit, you scared me. Amiya, you shouldn't be letting these games get the better of you. Just once or twice is enough. You'll spoil our plans if you waste so much time talking. So, Dr. Kalt'tsit, if she lied, were you really going to kill me? I didn't lie, though. Just hypothetically. Not every infected is so honest after they've been hurt. I've acted on impulse before myself. Of course not. You're a Rhode Island operator. I trust you over all others. Let's call it a form of psychological treatment for her. Naturally, the way you and she responded to it proved your innocence. But I... That look on your face was so dark and terrifying. I really thought you were going to do it. Your act was way too convincing. Sounds fine to me. I wouldn't do it, but I'd like to make people think that I would. Dr. Kalt'tsit, you really pushed it. No more terrorizing Guard. Fine. Don't worry, Guard. If she did go too far, I would have stepped in to stop her. Did all that spike your emotional state? Should I help you recuperate? Oh, no need. I'd be awfully weak if I needed the Amiya treatment after just that. After all, the one I really worry about is the little one standing by the door. But even that's looking better. She and I sorted things out, and I think I get it. But I still can't let go of the time she split a person clean in half with the swipe of a claymore. That's gonna be with me for my whole life. Oh, I know the incident you're talking about. Guard, did you know she saved 4 civilian lives during that operation? That the military was testing weapons on them? She killed an abandoned weapons-grade experimental caster they bought from a Sargon slaver. The entire batch of casters had their pituitary glands surgically removed. Just to point out here, because I had to remind myself what that gland actually is. I only remembered it's somewhere part of the brain. Essentially, it's a small little, pretty much just a small little blob that is on the bottom side of the brain and is responsible for giving the body very, very, very important hormones, amongst others, hormones who are responsible for growth and for, well, sexual desires and stuff, you know the drill. But on the question of, can you actually survive if you remove that? Yes. Problem is, though, you need to take in a shit ton of medication to replace the hormones that the gland was producing itself. So, yikes! Poor those little shitters. Anyway, continuing. The glands were replaced with a neurogenium device that kept them from moving. That kept them moving without input from their own nervous system. They were already dead. Only Rosmontes, with her unique fighting style, could destroy the experimental infected organs. She did nothing wrong. So that's what happened. Guard, I think you misjudged Rosmontes the same way that that young lady misjudged you. What you look like and any rumors going around about you are anyone's first window into your personality. No matter what you did, they'd be looking at you as reunion first. But if we never got past the surface, we'd never know anything, let alone learn to trust. If no one tries to find the truth, then no matter how hard we work to sow its seeds, they won't germinate. And anyway, Rosmontes is right in front of you. Why don't you just ask her? Ask her? What do you want to ask? Rosmontes sure is scary. Not like that. She won't know what to say. Rosmontes, what are you here for? My mission. And, like I said, getting revenge for my family. I'm done asking. But I don't know what I asked. I was angry at Azazel before, and now I was rude to Rosmontes. Huh. What a mess I am. But you trust Patriot. Tell us about Patriot and his guerrillas. And about Reunion. I'm pretty sure Dr. Kalt'tsit and the doctor here can make sense of it. The only reason there's anyone still left alive, why so many Ursas were able to make it through Chernobog, is because Patriot and his guerrillas, and the people who respect them. When the guerrilla fighters were around, there was peace. Nobody dared to raise a hand against anybody else. Not only did they hand out supplies and resources, but they even worked to make the local lives a little better. Patriot was going to let me leave the city, but I decided to stay, to see how things turned out. I overheard him talking to the leader of Azazel. I think even if it's all an act, he is at least working hard to keep up the act. Also, Mr. Scout died there to protect me. Patriot respected Mr. Scout. Scout, was an operator who sacrificed himself in Chernobog. Scout. Rosmontes? What happened to Scout? Why can't I remember? He died? This emptiness, is that him? Scout, I forgot again? But the terminal, how could I forget again? January 3rd. An old man with white hair brought a charred, blackened object. Mechanist couldn't stand after seeing it. The old man nodded and left. Dr. Kalt'tsit didn't say anything, only patted my head. Oh, right, this is Rosmontes speaking. It was Scout's. Scout is gone too. Scout was the one who didn't even have a shadow, wasn't he? Wouldn't he be the one who came back even when everyone else died? Wasn't he the one with the never-ending story? Scout. I searched the logs. Scout made me a bow. But that's a toy for little girls. I don't play with toys anymore. Why did Scout die? Why? Rosmontes. Give me your hand. Close your eyes, Rosmontes. Turns out elite operators aren't that different from my teammates. Doctor, I've got something to say. On your rescue operation, Scout led the recon team. He never knew you like you are now, but he said he knew you before, like Ace. He held back the Sarkis mercenaries to save my life. Knowing Scout, he could have easily gotten out of it if he wanted. He told me to tell you something. Right, I remember it. He said he would never forget fighting by your side. He also wanted to stop being a commander, but things being what they are, I think you can probably... But things being the way they are, I think you probably can't just sit by and watch. Boss sacrificed himself to save me too. That means I've got 2 elite operators' lives on my shoulders. But Mr. Scout said they didn't die for any one person. They died for one idea. His team did, and so did mine. So I decided to look into Reunion. I had to see where things were going and how I could help Rhode Island. I saw the guerrillas had their own idea, a firm, pure conviction that they were fighting for. They were a little more savage, of course, but they never found joy in violence. That's what I saw in them. If Reunion was supposed to be about liberating the infected, then the guerrillas, they were there to exterminate their oppressors. They'd exterminate those who enslaved the infected and those who threatened the common folk, all of them, to a man. That's because of Patriot. Patriot taught them, led them, and protected them. Before Patriot set out from Chernobog on a mission, I had a talk with him. Just how old is that warrior? But he still shared some of his booze with me. It was the first time anybody treated me like that. He may indeed be much older than you think. Have you heard the legend about him leaving Ursus? I have. He led an entire elite division out of forces. The Great Rebellion proved to be fertile ground for all sorts of things that otherwise would have been absurd. The truth is, there aren't many of those soldiers he led out of Ursus left. Their clashes with the Ursus regulars must have cost him a lot of men. Most of his guerrillas are fresh recruits, people who volunteered to join when they fought in the northwestern tundra. Their battles, their prestige, and their ideals all want them recruits. They used to work well with the leader of Reunion, but for some reason, maybe related to the burning hate the infected have for the people of Ursus, things turned out like this. It is what it is. Everyone alive today suffers catastrophes, madness, and death, all kinds of suffering that this world heaps upon them. Tatiana, I remember your name is Tatiana. That's right. Does your knee hurt? What's that? 3 days ago you tripped trying to run away. I got better a while ago. I'm Ursus. I'm not like whatever your race is. Us Ursus are much sturdier. I'm glad. It looked pretty nasty. Huh. Here I am doing a medic operator's job without any training. I've got a lot on my plate, Dr. kalt'tsit. I understand. Medic didn't come with you? Why bring her up? Don't worry about it. I can tell by the look on Rosmontis' face what happened. We've lost a lot of people, but Rhode Island fights on. I'm getting the impression that you don't know the core city is on collision course with Lungmen. What? Oh, are you talking about helping the Reunion forces at the Battle of Lungmen? Moving the core city is Reunion's only play. I heard about that. The core city is broadcasting an Ursus identification code. Uh-huh. What? Hold up. No way. That doesn't make any sense. Now you know why we're here. What's the problem? kalt'tsit makes the Rhode Island hand gesture for quiet. Nothing. You've been talking so long. If Patriot and his men are as good as you say, why is Reunion still running amok here in Ursus? Because Reunion shouldn't be doing this. Huh? Guard? I think you would be a great help to our operation since you're familiar with both the local infected and Reunion. Would you be willing to rejoin our team? Oh, but you can't leave yet, can you? Right. I'm sure you can tell just by looking at me, right, Amiya? Sorry, I know I'm about a decade older than you, but sometimes you make me feel like a kid. No need to blame yourself. I could even say Rhode Island will honor your work. But you're in a very dangerous position. Guard, if Reunion falls here, your work to save the infected and maintain their basic living conditions will become much more difficult. Are you at all worried that could come to pass? No, I'm not. Because Reunion has Patriot. As long as he's here, Reunion won't fall. A lot of guerrilla fighters left camp and gathered up. I'm thinking that's because he may be back already. And if he's here, I believe Reunion can still change. But Reunion lacks the impetus to change. Look at the evidence. Tallulah has certainly not devoted herself to the cause. Chernobog's core city, the ruins of Chernobog back there, and the Ursus infected. We can't forget that the Ursus' Third Army is still out there waiting to act. That will make everything drastically worse. But I know Reunion is relatively strong. And there are a few things Rhode Island can handle. This is one of those things. Rhode Island is a corporation. Dr. kalt'tsit has been very clear about that time and again. I believe in Boss and Mr. Scout. And I believe in Patriot. I know. Aren't you mad, Amiya? Why should I be mad at you over things we can't do and things we haven't done? So much happened these past 2 weeks. We've all changed a lot. But we're not about to turn on each other because of the infected. I think all that happened in Chernobog and what Cart and I saw were the same. Correct. I still can't stand hurting people like that. No matter who's doing it to who, I won't stand for it. If Patriot wants to clean house in Reunion, I have to stand with him, with his men, and with all the Reunion members who believe in Patriot. We do not consider your new way of thinking to be a threat to our interests. In fact, we encourage all our operators to learn more about the outside world, their own goals, and build their self-confidence. Our ideas are constantly changing. Thank you, Dr. kalt'tsit. Amiya. Oh, yes. You can also contact the doctor later. Happy to be of help. As for my responsibilities at Rhode Island, Amiya, Dr. kalt'tsit, will they be more important? I wouldn't put it that way, Guard. It's more important to decide for yourself what you want to do. And personally, I think that any of us would have done the same in your position. Different people make different choices. If something's important to you, it's important. I hope you find a place for yourself amongst these Ursus like you wanted. I hope you can protect these deserving of protection. Why are you looking at me? I'm not. No reason. Just thinking. Oh, yes. Regarding your pay, I'm afraid your work here doesn't support a salary. Sorry. Also, Guard, please do tell me. If Patriot betrays Tallulah, what happens then? That won't happen. Patriot trusts Tallulah deeply. Now, what about the other way around? Dr. kalt'tsit? What if Tallulah betrays Patriot? Or what if I told you we encountered the Reunion commander, Frostnova, and by any objective measure are responsible for her death? Dr. kalt'tsit, what are you saying? That's Patriot's daughter. If we fight Patriot, that would be the worst case scenario, and it's what the puppet master would want. If Tallulah is turning a blind eye to or even allowing the infected to harm innocent civilians in spite of Patriot's stance, I believe that's no longer just turning a blind eye. A lot of infected will make Patriot into a target, those who don't know the truth, and those who let their hatred get the better of them, and those who want to. I have to go. I have to tell Patriot. But Rhode Island, will he be your enemy? I didn't think things would turn out like this. It's not the obvious step for Reunion to take. Whether Misha or Frostnova, us, Reunion, and Lungmen too, we can't let anyone else slip through the cracks. Doctor, we still have a lot to do. Just thinking of what comes next is making me tired. But before that, we have to find Madame Shen. And most importantly, the leader of Reunion. She's the cause of all of this. Right. Team Mantra 2, come in. The captain has determined Reunion's communications methods. It's primitive, even artificial looking. As for personnel, she's just about done clearing the area. Not the guerrillas though, they're tough. Should we eliminate them? No need for that. We're not here to eliminate them or have them butcher each other. We're not here to stir up internal conflict. They should oppose those who misled them. Now? That's our question. I'm good. Naturally, not now. Their spirit is rotten, but their fabrication of a backbone still remains. Take it away or break it, and watch them crumble. That's what we might have done. Sorry, Jesus. That's what we might have done at first. Tallulah was a step ahead of us. She stirred the conflict and fanned its flames. I originally thought she had gone mad, but this is poison. not madness. The infected and the people of the city will surely rise up. Tallulah gave them the chance to intermingle and build bridges. She must still have a queen on the board, or she wouldn't be so bold. I firmly believe that she wants to destroy Reunion in the most dishonorable possible way, and that is a poison that we must neutralize. But all this hinges on what Buldrocasti decides to do. It looks like we've successfully infiltrated the core city. Because what we do next can hardly be called an infiltration, Doctor. As I said when we started, infiltration is only about 20% of our plan here. To get to the core, command tower and the generator area to halt Chernobog's movement, we will have to go through the central district. Now, the enemies in our path are not your run-of-the-mill Reunion, nor are they brutish Sarkis sellswords. Reunion's running low on leaders. Let's put W aside for now. As a tactician, you should be more concerned about this. You should be more concerned about this than about Tallulah, Reunion's tyrant. The infected guerrilla of the northern plains, a thorn in the hinterlands of Horsus's 4th Army to the northwest. Since its formation, it has only ever had one leader. Ordinary resistance fighters get slaughtered by these guerrillas, but these guerrillas were able to turn the tables on the butchers. Local stakeholders could request the mobilization of a division or two to knock them out, but it would be taken as an admission of incompetence to the generals and the state council. The war raged for so long that the infected hiding out in the snow came to call the guerrillas their Aegis. The Aegis of the infected. The Yeti Squad was one of its subsets, and its members did not solely consist of infected. The Exiles, the Fanatics, the Maimed, Elves, Durin, and Sarkas. The guerrillas did not fight for the infected alone. Sounds familiar. Oh? It's exactly what you're thinking. Just like Rhode Island, yes? Just as before, Rhode Island would benefit from your intuition, Doctor. Huh. You're not mad. Why do you look into my eyes when you say that? There is nothing to see in these eyes. In an unexpectedly apt analogy, the guerrilla fighters also trust only one commander, and embrace only that one commander. Yes, Doctor, this guerrilla force is another sort of Rhode Island. But their leader? No. Doctor, prepare yourself well, or you'll regret it. Even though one of our objectives is to clear a path through the central district to the bridge and the generator area. For your own safety, I still hope you and Amia will not face him. But if this is all inevitable, then I can only repeat what I just said. Prepare yourself well, Doctor, and before you face him, you must prepare to face his guerrillas. I rarely offer advice to others, Doctor, but that is Patriot, Buldrocasti. Still, another block? No, I have to tell Patriot. If Tallulah lets these people strike at the guerrillas, then the guerrillas will be killed by their own. Patriot is the only level-headed one left in Reunion. Where do you think you're going? You... Sarkas. What brigade are you with, and what business do you have in the central district? Explain it to me. Oh, are you maybe... or maybe you're with the old Wendigo? The prey ran right up to me on his own. What did you learn, weak little infected outlander? Alright, and this is where we are gonna leave it off for today. The next two stages are with no story. They're simply titled Stained 1 and Stained 2. They do have a mini description here, which I will add just as a bonus to the end of the episode. 711, titled Stained 1, says, Sarkar's casters have appeared on the battlefield, and it seems like the Originian altars may be affecting their arts. However, don't panic, we have ways of dealing with them. And 712, as Reunion's elite warriors, the Sarkar's mercenaries have shown formidable strength. Only by defeating them can we continue forward. So pretty much only 2 battle stages against Sarkar's mercenaries and casters along the way before we are gonna start next time with stage 7-13. Okay, so quickly, next episode of this should be next week. So hold on, what date is that actually? That is somewhere around the 10th or 11th of this month. So yeah, about a week and some crunch days from now. Considering this week we have a rerun of the Walk in the Dust side story for Arknights, which I will cover obviously on the channel as a narration piece. So look forward to that across the week. Probably, I don't remember how dense the story is, considering I need to reread it first before I start recording them. But probably 3 parts, I guess. I don't think it was that dense. It did have some very long story sequences, but probably like a 3-parter series. But I'll see when I sit down to properly pre-read and start recording. But that will be over the week. I think we're also getting a couple of operator records along with this side story, so I think at least I'll need to double check that one. But we'll see in like 2 days anyway. It's on Tuesday and I'm recording this on Sunday. So yeah, expect that side story across the week. That will be the main focus of the week. Depending on how many episodes it will take, I will probably also for the weekend record, just to chill out, record the newly added mode to Integrated Strategies 2, which has its own perks and shit. So we'll do like a intro into this new mode and overview of what it is and what it does, and play around through it probably. But yeah, so Walk in the Dust side story, operator records, they're going to be added. I will probably squeeze as well a operator module story that I wanted to do over this week, just to see what kind of little story it adds to a operator that I recently covered in one of the file narration episodes. But yeah, in general, when it comes to this chapter, just as a quick overview, well, today's narration episode. Let's see. I want to highlight one part. I think the best part so far. Well, would that be the best part? I guess it would be the little slowly creeping story of Rosmontis and what's her issue, and why she is so freaking pissed at Rhode Island and losing Ace and Scout. But hey, Guard survived. One of the characters that we thought died at the beginning of the story, securing our route to run out of Chernobog, survived, and he pretty much joined Reunion by being endorsed by freaking Patriot himself. And yeah, I guess this chapter pretty much is this part of this chapter is pretty much just a single piece about let's portray Patriot as a character for the upcoming conclusion of this chapter, considering considering we had a similar scenes like we did with Frost Nova in the previous chapter, where we didn't get the description of the person from a third character, from a side character or someone else. We pretty much got to learn about Frost Nova personally, like first person, learn what it is that makes her tick, how she operates, how important her family is to her, and so on and so forth. And here we have a similar situation, but the things about Patriot are being told from other people. In this case, we get a very clear, somewhat clearer picture about Patriot through Guard's description of him as a person. We also have the extra benefit of being told a tiny bit about Patriot from Frost Nova herself in the previous chapter. So this is slowly building up this character as we are approaching the, well, the inevitable. But yeah, I think this is all I can add to this one. Besides the Rosmontes scenes, and we do get a couple of interesting glimpses into Amiya's powers. Considering, when you take into consideration Amiya as a character when you begin this game, you only get her as a caster. She is literally a single target caster, and you're not expecting many more powers from her, considering other operators are also pretty much just based around their one power. Don't really always get described as do they have this extra bit because of their oripathy or whatever the hell. But Amiya seems to have more than one power, considering while they are still in the underbelly of the city, they notice something, and kalt'tsit gives her the go-ahead to, and she doesn't say it that way, but essentially Amiya expands her, let's call it, consciousness towards the surface of the city, surface level, to just see what the hell is happening, and she finds those altars that the Sarkas have built. So yeah, she does have more powers, and as we've seen already through the story a bit, she does have this power to also calm people down. It I kind of do have to say it, it kind of feels like that one, I can't remember if it's a cantrip or a spell. I think it's a spell from D&D, which is essentially a calm person, which literally does what it does in its description, just calms a person the fuck down, or a creature or whatever the hell. But essentially she does have that kind of capability of just interacting with someone, and that someone just chills the hell out, just stops. But interesting, as we are learning. And I do want to point out, and this is no spoiler obviously for the story, just point out and remind that in the files, Amiya is, unless I'm mistaken, I think she is the only one that under race is being counted as two different things at once. She is a Kautus, aka the rabbits, but she's also counted as Chimera, which is an interesting thing to have in a file. Very interesting thing to have there. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, I think this will do it for today's episode. I think I also rambled enough for the time being. So I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. Like I said, next time we are gonna be finishing off the narration for this whole chapter, or episode 7, however you want to call it. Birth of Tragedy is gonna come to an end. And then after that, we're gonna go into the most hype as shit freaking chapter of this whole story, of this whole first act, Roaring Flame. Oh my god, cannot wait to start covering that one. That one is just oof. But yeah, this will do it for today's recording. I hope everybody had fun. I wish you all a pleasant day, whatever you are doing. And I will see you in the next episode of whatever pops up on the channel. So until then, bye bye.